Hello and welcome to the oddest little podcast on the internet. What's going on? We are the Odd Pod. My name's Stacy Kruger. Who are you boys?
I am casually challenged.
I am the clean-shaven Rat Hazard.
I'm Robbie, and it still doesn't feel like spring.
Go ahead. Let me cut you off. You don't exist anymore.
I'm Ryan, but I don't exist anymore.
Oh, shucks.
Well, dang it. Somebody save my brain for science.
It doesn't feel like spring at all. Is it snowing over there too, Robbie?
No, it's just raining and miserable.
That sounds like our spring. I'd feel right home right now over there, man. Shit, over here we got snow. It's we have Lake Superior right by us. So we had last night was 10 to 16 foot waves. Today it's 12 to 18 foot waves. Snow everywhere. I'm just like, this feels like spring in Minnesota. Shit.
Yeah, more or less the difference between the seasons in the UK is in spring the trees will have leaves on them and it'll be slightly warmer, but it'll still be raining. And in the summer it'll be slightly warmer, but it'll still be raining. And then in the autumn the trees won't have leaves and it'll still be raining. And then in the winter,
I'm hearing a theme.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I would say,
much, yeah.
So it's like Seattle is what you're saying, just fucking rain, shit, nonstop.
Now, you actually live there and have for a while. I don't know how much of the history of weather. I can't believe we're talking about weather. That you know of that, but that didn't used to be the case, if I'm not mistaken. Like London used to get snow during the winter every year, like really hard snow.
Oh yeah.
But some sort of like if you want evidence of climate change, look at the history of weather in the UK. Like it's kind of, not that we're
as I'm sitting
that talks
in
about that shit.
Neck deep snow. You're absolutely right. Jesus Christ. No, it's just every time I hear about some dumb shit like that, it's kind of stop and go, oh, here we go again. God damn
That's
it.
because you're confusing global warming with climate change.
Yeah, that's why they changed the name to
Oh, for
climate
Christ. It's
change.
just convenience. I'm sorry. It's one moment they're screaming everything's warming, next moment they're screaming everything's cooling, and then next moment it's warming again. It's climate change. The Earth, as through history of the Earth itself, has gone through plenty of warming and cooling cycles. I mean, it's literally the Earth doing what the Earth does,
Yeah, but the problem is if the Earth keeps, the Earth can go through its motions as long as we stay alive while it does it.
It should be noted that if you track science's perspective of history, they say that this world goes through cycles of ice ages.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, we are in the middle of a not ice age. So, hopefully I'm not alive when we
I've
hit
heard the
ice
exact
age.
opposite, that we're going into an ice age.
Well,
Yeah,
like I said,
we're not there
yes,
yet.
eventually we are. That's my point.
No, like that
it goes
supposedly
through
this is
cycles.
the beginning.
Well, that's fine.
No, it's like that's
as
what
long
I
as I'm-
heard. I don't know. It seems like everybody else always has different information on this type of topic. You know what I mean?
As long as I'm not on the Snowpiercer when it happens, I'm fine.
Oh, dude.
Like-
Go ahead.
My attitude for everything that happens in the world is as long as it's funny.
Nobody's talking about the real threat, though. Genova.
Genova. Shit. Oh, God. If I wish I had Sephiroth's music on a button. Oh, I would hit Genova's theme. Oh, son of a bitch. I would play...
Rad, I hate you.
I love you, Rad. No, Rad,
He said Genova.
come to me. I'll love you. Casual will hate you forever. Genova is our true threat. No, listen. Mother is here to help us. Mother's here to help us. Mother's here to cure the earth.
So wait, does that make Sephiroth like a Square Enix version of Jason?
Yes. Except for the fact that, Jason, that was his real mother, and Genova was just mind control. Oh Christ! Here we go. If you, how deeply do we want to dig into Final Fantasy VII right now? That's my question.
No, we've already done that.
Well, not nearly deep enough. I'm joking,
No.
obviously.
People have delved into Final Fantasy VII for over 20 years.
And it still is a
And
great
they
story
will
to talk about.
continue to. It will never, ever end. And again, I have to stress, because people are going to take my comments as, he hates Final Fantasy. I don't hate Final Fantasy VII. We've gone over this. I like Final Fantasy VII. I just think it's overhyped.
But there is one pressing question I must have an answer to Final Fantasy VII. Who do you ship?
Oh, Cloud and Aerith.
Nah.
Cloud and Aerith any day.
Cloud and the other one.
Tifa, that's just because you like her big tits.
Well, yeah.
Cloud and Aerith any day because there's actual love there instead of just lust.
Isn't she dead?
No, I don't.
Listen
I
here,
don't
you son of a
think
bitch.
there-
Necrophilia is
I
a
don't
wonderful
think
thing.
there was love there. I think that he liked her, and she was friend zoning him. Whereas
Friend-zone?
I always felt like Tifa was like, "Hey, if she doesn't want you, I'm here." And he was
Tifa's like,
"Oh,
please
you're
motorboat
okay,
this.
But let's be real though. As a male who likes certain things in life that are certain things, both.
I would say there's no way you could call that friend zoning with Aerith. She was like obviously kind of throwing herself at Cloud over and over again, and it wasn't until later that Cloud realized how head over heels in love with her he was.
Can we get Jerry Springer on this?
Here's me and Casual throwing chairs. Fuck you!
I ship Cloud and Don Corneo.
God. Oh, that scene still to this day. It's so uncomfortably hetero. It's just awful. Because Cloud's just like, you want me to put a dress? What? No. Dawn, you want to fuck me? What? You could just, it's just so uncomfortably just like, ha ha ha, we're
And that
edgy.
That scene where the big burly men come into the room.
Oh, God, I love that one. That was actually, well, let's just say that there may have been some fanfic written by me, including me, in that scene. But that's beside.
His face is turning beet red. I don't think I want to be here.
No, honestly, all jokes aside, fanfic. That is one of the most interesting sections of the internet I have ever experienced. Because there's two types of fanfic. There's not 3, there's not 5, there's 2. Either A, you're fucking the character, or B, you're actually just rewriting the story and just keeping true to the story. There's only 2. There's no, like, I'm going to create a brand new story. No. Either you're fucking the character or you're rewriting it from scratch.
So you're fucking the character or you're fucking the story?
Pretty much, yes. I remember My Eternal was my favorite fanfic because it was written as satire towards fanfiction. It was just fantastic. And I actually did like a whole series on air one day where I decided to play it and do all the voices for this. It was just awful. By the end of it, I would only do like half an hour bits, and by the end of it, I was doing so many voices, and the voice I assigned to the narrator, the writer of the story, was so fucked up I destroyed my voice to the point where I couldn't talk the rest of the show. It was just bad, man. Seriously, go check out My Eternal. It's fucking hilarious.
I just had an idea for Final Fantasy roleplay. You have basically the Final Fantasy version of the Onion.
God damn it. The Onion of all things.
Which Chocobo is better, baked or grilled?
I would say raw. Eat it like a real man. While the bird's still screaming, squawk! Squawk! Chocobo instead of Chocobo, by the way.
Then you go, is Bahamut a dom or a sub?
Oh my god, I could go for hours on this. Let's go. Come on, let's do right now. Let's do this. Also, Neo, Zero, or regular Baphomet.
Does it matter?
Yes, it does. It's 3 different summons. Oh god damn it! Let's actually talk about a topic today, guys. Star Trek Discovery. I had no idea this was a thing, which I guess kind of speaks true to how it turned out. Casual, you actually saw this, correct?
I did.
Thoughts?
Well, okay. So, get packed in.
Let's cuddle around, get the popcorn and the hot cocoa, get a little blanket on us.
Yeah, here's the thing about my catchphrase, other than meh, about that show. So they showed the first episode, and it's a few months old at this point. It ended in March, I think. I don't know. But they aired the first episode of it on regular network television. The first episode, not the whole thing. It was a 2-parter.
Mm-hmm.
They only aired the first part, and then they said, "Now subscribe to CBS All Access to get the rest." No, fuck off. So that was kind of the first problem that I already had with it. Most people, what they did was they said, okay, well, how about this instead? How about I wait until you air all the episodes, I'll subscribe for a month, and then I won't, give a shit anymore, and I'll unsubscribe. That's how I'm pretty sure most people watched it. As a Star Trek fan, and I am both a Star Trek and a Star Wars fan, and Stargate, and Battlestar Galactica. I like them all. I'm a super nerd. It is possible to like them all. I have opinions on what I think Star Trek should be, but I understand that the dynamics of television change and stories change. It is what it is. That being said, I feel like this was very much oriented towards the current trend in television, which is to tell a story, right? Like a long form. Every episode is interconnected. You can't just watch one episode.
Okay.
You have to watch from the beginning all the way to the end, or you're going to be fucking lost. It doesn't do what I personally think Star Trek should always do, and that is tell individual episodic stories. Because if you tell an individual episodic story, you can miss a couple, or you can watch them out of order. There's a little bit of continuity in all the Star Trek shows, and that's great, but the enjoyment to me of Star Trek is being able to just be like, oh, what's your favorite episode? Oh, I like this one. I like that one. I like the other one. But Discovery has 15 episodes, technically 14 because the first episode is a 2-parter. And if you can't pick an episode that's your favorite, you can just say, well, I like this part of the story better, So, but that's kind of personal opinion on Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
What Star Trek Discovery did, and I am going to spoil it for people that haven't seen it, so if you haven't seen it, too bad, stop listening for a while and come back after I'm done. Star Trek Discovery is set about 10 years, I think, before the original series is set. So Kirk does not have command of the Enterprise yet. Spock is not, whatever. But because they did that, they basically had to write themselves into a hole because they have to do certain things with the story that kind of don't, And then there is, in Star Trek lore, there is this alternate universe that they visit sometimes. They did one episode of it in the original series. They did another 2-parter episode in Star Trek Enterprise, not really everybody's favorite, but hey, it ran for 4 years. They did at least 3 or 4 episodes in Deep Space Nine related to this alternate universe, and the idea of this alternate universe is broken, but it doesn't matter because it's fun. It's essentially the concept of, it's the alternate universe where everybody is evil and they're all backstabbing bastards, but there's a version of all of us there, and they're so savage, and it's where we get the trope. Well, it's not where we get the trope, but it's Spock with the goatee, or goatee, however you say it. It's the evil guy has an evil beard because that's what makes him evil. You know, when we're in this universe, we have to be all evil because that's just the nature of this universe. It's stupid, but it's fun to write for that. The only problem is that's literally the entire basis of Discovery. Now, you don't find that out right away. They weave you through it, but based on that alone, that the entire by the end of it, everything that was interesting about the show, because it does start to get interesting. But then once they do the big reveal that it's all about one of the characters trying to get back to the alternate universe so that he can kill the big leader and become the big leader himself, it throws everything that came before it out the window, because you're basically, it's almost like the dream sequence ending to a season of television.
Okay.
Where so basically none of what just happened mattered because we were just following a dream. Well, that's kind of what this feels like. It feels like nothing that just happened mattered, because after they're done with it, they go back to the normal universe and they have to start fresh again.
I guess the real question is, what would, because I know you're an old school Star Trek fan, correct, Casual?
Oh, I like them all.
Okay, who here, because I know, Ryan, I know your old man's a Star Trek fan. Are you also a Star Trek fan?
I like the newer movies. I haven't fully gotten into the older TV episodes and different TV series.
Okay, Robbie, Rad, either of you guys into Star Trek?
I liked the original series, Next Generation, and Voyager.
Okay.
TNG, Voyager, DS9.
Okay, so my real question at that point then is, how would this line up to you guys? Would this be worthwhile to watch? And, you know, to those of you guys who actually watched the older ones and enjoyed it, would you be like, that looks great, like a fucking great watch, or be like, the fuck are you guys doing with the show?
I mean, the main consensus that I've heard from it is you should watch The Orville instead.
Yes, I would actually. I haven't even watched The Orville, but as far as I'm concerned, The Orville is more, from everything I've heard, The Orville is more Star Trek-y than Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
And it's funny.
The hell is the Orville?
The Orville is Seth MacFarlane's love child to Star Trek.
Oh,
Yeah.
that thing. Okay, yes,
Okay.
yes.
The Orville is Galaxy Quest, the series. Like, if you've seen the movie Galaxy Quest, imagine if the actual series of Galaxy Quest in that movie was an actual series. That's what the Orville is. It's that series, but it's a little bit farcical and more comedic, like the tone of Galaxy Quest, the movie. So it's funny Star Trek.
Okay.
That's the best way to describe it, I think.
So you think people are going to latch onto this at all? Because I've never actually heard of this. This is the biggest thing for me. That's why I'm asking. Do you think it's going to be a lasting series? Do you think it's going to be one that goes down like that was a great Star Trek series? Or do you think it's going to be one of those ones that was just like, well, it was forgettable, fuck it? Because like I said, this is the first time on today's show that I've ever heard of Star Trek Discovery being a show.
Well, I mean, so here's the thing about streaming services, and this, it's a roundabout way to answer your question, but trust me, I'll get to it.
Okay.
Streaming services do not have to release any numbers on their subscribers, who's watching what. The only reason they ever do that kind of stuff is to hype up their streaming service. So, like, Netflix said that Bright was one of the most watched movies on their service. They've said that Stranger Things has been watched by millions. There's no real way to confirm any of the things they're saying because everything is literally coming from them. It's like when Nintendo Power used to review games that were on the Nintendo, it's a conflict of interest. You know, it's of course Nintendo Power is going to give all their games that are on the Nintendo a good review because it's a fucking Nintendo. They want to sell their games. So Discovery is getting a second season. And CBS is saying this is because it was so successful. But they're also not releasing any numbers on subscribers, on how many people watch the show, on when they watch the show. Like I said, a lot of people probably subscribed for a month, binge watched it, and unsubscribed. It's a ploy to basically fleece the stupid public into saying, oh, I guess CBS All Access is worthwhile and Star Trek Discovery is good. It's okay. Is it worth an entire... Like, if you like all the programming on CBS, I guess CBS All Access would be a good thing. But if all you give a shit about, like me, is Star Trek, I'm not going to pay fucking $5 to $10 or $15 a month for fucking Star Trek Discovery. It's definitely not worth that price.
That's kind of where I was at with quite a few shows. 'Cause remember, what the hell was it? Doctor Who. When it left Netflix and went to Amazon, which I already had Amazon Prime because of Twitch Prime. I kind of stopped when, why the fuck am I still on Netflix? I kind of stopped when, that was the only reason I was always on Netflix was because they had a couple of okay documentaries, which I'd already watched, and they had Doctor Who. I was like, well, what the fuck am I doing here still? I already have I already have Amazon. Is there any reason to stay on Netflix? Nope. So guess what I fucking did? Left. You know, so,
yeah.
You know, as long as same lines, you know.
I'm kind of in the same boat personally. Like when it comes to Netflix, there are 3 shows. Well, I guess technically it's more than 3 shows, but there's 3 things that I'm keeping Netflix for. One is Stranger Things. I really like that show. Mm-hmm. 2 is their Marvel stuff. Even with the abysmal Iron Fist thing, I still like the other shows that they've been producing on there. And as long as they keep making them, which they are still going to be making Punisher 2, Luke Cage 2, and surprisingly, there's still talk about an Iron Fist 2, though they haven't announced Deadpool 3 yet, which makes me wonder if that one's going to be on... Did I say Deadpool?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Daredevil 3, which makes me wonder if that's going to be going to Disney's service or if they're going to move it to Hulu or what's going on. Because at the end of 2019, at some point, Netflix is not going to have a deal with Disney Marvel anymore. Like, all of the Disney Marvel deals that they had up to this point are done at some point in 2019 because Disney's starting their streaming service. And the other show is Narcos. I like that show. So that's 3 shows. And I'm paying like, I don't know, $12 a month now. I know they've raised their prices a couple times since I first started it. But once they lose the Marvel shows, I don't even know if I'm going to be as interested in keeping it anymore. Like, why?
Honestly, I can't think of a good reason. I mean, I saw that they had, because I was looking around trying to find a place to watch What one was it? I think it was. I want to say it was one of the Avengers 2 maybe. I can't remember what the fuck it was, but I was looking around and I saw they had a whole list, yeah, like you said, of Marvel fucking shit on Netflix. And I was like, well, maybe I should get this again. I kind of stopped and went, wait a second, is this leaving soon? Because I remember the whole sales going through. Maybe I'm just a cheap bastard, and all I could think of is just going, I'm looking for a reason not to buy something.
No, I think it's a legit reason. I mean, when the Disney streaming service starts, I am almost certain I'm going to get it. Because there's, depending on what they put on there, I mean, they're already talking about a Star Wars live action show that they're going to be making for it, which I've never really got into the animated ones, Clone Wars and whatever the current one is.
Rebels.
That's it, Rebels. But I like Star Wars live action. There's only one I don't like, and one I've never seen and will never see. I don't like Ewok Adventure 2, and I've never seen and will never see the Christmas special.
Oh, God, the Christmas special? The one where you can only find it on YouTube, and that's when they don't accidentally pull it down because it gets busted? I didn't know there was an Ewok Adventure 1, even.
The Ewok Adventure 1 is not the greatest movie ever, but it feels Star Wars-y. It had a fairly low budget because it was a made-for-TV movie, but it's about two kids who get stranded on a planet, their parents killed, and they have to basically try and get off the planet. Well, the planet they're on is technically a moon. It's the moon of Endor, and they encounter the Ewoks, and they have literally an adventure. It's cute. It's fun. Ewok Adventure 2 is terrible. Do not watch.
Well, number 1 sounds terrible as it is, but number 2 is even worse then, huh?
I mean, I don't think 1 was terrible, but it's definitely, like, Star Wars as a whole is made for kids. Star Wars The Ewok Adventure is more made for kids. Like, it was literally about two kids, traipsing through. It's in fact a little bit Dungeons and Dragons-y meets Star Wars. I will tell you, the one thing that I like the most out of the Ewok Adventure is a really dumb, nerdy thing, but it is the fact that they have a blaster, and they use it a few times, and it runs out of juice. And you never fucking see that in any of the movies. They just sit there and blast away with their guns, and nobody ever reloads. And I liked it because it showed that, yes, they do run out of whatever ammo they use.
Come to think of it, you're right. I never seen one of those little bastards run out of juice, huh?
The only time they really ever ran out of juice was during the Clone Wars series. They talk about them needing ammo or low on ammo. That's like the only time.
Isn't that the cartoon?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, yeah. I remember my nephew made me watch it a couple times, and by the end of it, I start to feel my brain start to frizzle a little bit. I'm like, oh, I'm losing brain cells. Jesus Christ. There's not many left as it is, man. We can't keep doing this. Nobody's going to jump on the Stacy is stupid joke? No one? No one at all?
No, I was just agreeing.
Oh, we couldn't hear the rocks rattle. I'm sorry. All jokes aside, when it comes to Netflix, once Marvel shit's gone from Netflix, do you think it's going to die? Because I know there's a series coming to Netflix for Boss Baby, right? Well, Jesus Christ, why are you laughing about that?
I'm not laughing. That's crying. It shouldn't be me.
It's actually already there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, they launched it last week, I think. I don't
It's
know.
funny because they don't have the actual guy who voiced him in the movie, voicing him in the TV show, and it sounds awful.
Well, of course not,
I
because
know,
Alec
but-
Baldwin is like a big star, and he's not going to do a Netflix series.
I get that, but it's funny how awful it is.
Have you seen the series?
No, but I've seen like a trailer for it.
Oh, okay. Because I will say this about the Boss Baby movie. I watched it because I heard it was crazy, and it is, and it made me laugh. I'm not gonna say it wasn't funny. It's not gonna be for everyone, and it's not the kind of thing I'm gonna watch again. But it was just the right amount of stupid and funny that I enjoyed it. I am like baffled that they turned it into a series, but no, Netflix isn't going to die when Disney takes its shit away. That's the whole point of making things like Boss Baby and Stranger Things and all the other shows they've been dumping money into is they're trying to build up their like, look at all these shows we have and shotgun the wall with as many different types of shows so more people will watch their shit.
Well, I guess maybe it's just because I've been hearing rumors for quite a while now that, one, they're going into debt making these fucking movies. They're not making nearly enough money off of them yet to go back.
Massive debt.
Okay, and also...
Massive.
So they're going into debt. There's rumors left and right that even internally they're worried once Marvel pulls their shit. Once Disney starts their thing.
I don't think they're that worried. I mean, they might be, but I think that talk of them being worried internally is just rumor mill.
Okay, sounds good. That's what I figured, but you know,
I think this is going to play itself out over the next 5 to 10 years, and at the end of that time, we're going to see who wins the quote streaming wars. Honestly, it's not going to be just one. It's not like, you know, all restaurants will be Taco Bell. I would say Disney is going to come out on top no matter what, just because they have a library of shit that if they put all of their quote vault movies on their streaming service, I mean, parents are going to get it just to keep their kids occupied.
Sit there and watch this, you little bastard.
And from a nostalgia standpoint, adults are going to get it for that. Like I'm going to get if they have Tailspin and the Gummy Bears on their streaming service, I am going to get it because I want to watch episodes of Tailspin and the Gummy Bears.
Fucking Tailspin, my God, that I completely forgot that show existed.
Fucking love.
I was
that
more
show.
of a Rescue Rangers person.
There you go. Another sale for the Disney streaming service if they have that on there. You know, that Disney is going to come out on top. Amazon, I don't think is going to go away. Mostly, I don't think Amazon's going to go away because even if nobody really gives a shit about their programming, they give that programming away through Amazon Prime, so they're always going to be there because people get Amazon Prime all the time just for shipping purposes.
Very true.
Netflix, I really don't think is going to go away, mostly because whether individuals like certain things on there or not, they have at least a dozen shows right now that everybody's talking about in some form or fashion. And they're just going to have more later. You know, they did a big deal with, the guy that created Kick-Ass and Kingsman. I can't remember his name, but they did this big deal that basically he's going to start creating shit exclusively for Netflix. So... yay, I guess. I mean, he hasn't done anything with it yet, but sure.
I watched part of Kingsman 2, I think it was, the other day. It was interesting at best.
Yeah. Did you see the first one?
No, not yet. I will eventually.
Okay, the first one is kind of better. The second one is a little bit like... They took all the crazy over-the-top stuff in Kingsman 1 and they went ridiculous with it. And having seen both Kick-Ass 1 and Kick-Ass 2, it was kind of the same way. Like, Kick-Ass 1 was taking the superhero genre and kind of putting it upside down, shaking it, and then putting it back on its feet and going, okay, we're doing something different with this. And by the end of it, it ended with a little bit of crazy over-the-topness. But for the most part, it was trying to look at superheroes from a more realistic standpoint, like what would really happen if somebody went and was trying to be a vigilante like Batman. Well, first of all, they'd get their ass handed to them and nearly die. Then the rest of the story goes on.
It just depends how determined they are. Casual, come on.
And Kingsman was kind of the same way. It took the spy genre and said, "Oh well, let's do this whole super spy and bring it to its ridiculous conclusion where there's extreme violence. Like, you see James Bond kill people, but the way they do it in Kingsman 1 is just fucking amazing. The church scene alone is just
That's the
cream of
only
the crop.
part of Kingsman I've seen is the church scene. I was like, that's fucked.
It's awesome, though.
It's awesome, but it's fucked.
Yes.
My God.
And but that's the problem I had with both Kingsman 2 and Kick-Ass 2 is they took the ridiculous parts. The movie kind of ramped up to being full-on ludicrous speed, the first movies. The second movie starts at ludicrous speed and just kind of maintains that for the whole movie, and it's like, well, maybe you could have pulled back a little and ramped it up like the first one. It is what it is. They're not bad movies, but I'm waiting to see if Kingsman 3 becomes a thing before I buy Kingsman 2.
I don't know. When I watched of it, I can't say Kingsman 2 was any good. Like I said, I felt a bit crispy as far as the skull went after watching half of it. And then it got turned on to something else. Like, what the hell? Halfway through, I think it was Ryan or his dad looked at it and was like, yeah, let's just get rid of this.
No. It was you and Dan didn't understand anything about it. You guys were like,
You were making fun of it the whole way through. That's right. I was making fun of it.
That's probably because you didn't watch Kingsman 1 all the way through.
No,
and there are there's some things that you kind of have to have watched Kingsman 1 for.
Well, it was less, didn't understand, more just me being me and making fun of it. And then his buddy Dan was just going, I don't understand this. And me going, I'm going to dovetail off this and have a good time making fun of it. You know? Well, you guys know me.
Well,
everything's a joke with me. Everything always will be a joke, you know?
Either way.
Monster movies. I fucking love them. Absolutely love them. Godzilla 2 in the U.S. is going to be coming out supposedly soon. When there's rumors of Mothra, there's rumors of Rodan.
They're doing Godzilla 2, or are they doing King Kong versus Godzilla first?
As far as I knew, 2 was coming first. I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this.
I don't know.
Once again, this is all rumor mill because I'm one of those sad, pathetic people who, dig up Godzilla news on my off time and watch all the Godzilla videos from the community discussing what's going to happen with the Godzilla community. What's going to happen with Godzilla continuity, both at Toho and the who the hell has it here in the U.S.? Not Universal. It's
Legendary.
Legendary. Thank you. Discussing what's going to happen to the legendary Godzilla and then also the Toho Godzilla. I'm that sad person who watches and reads that shit all day long, okay? So, as of the rumor mill right now, everything I've read is Godzilla 2 is coming before King Kong versus Godzilla. But that could change because, once again, this is all people going, yeah, that's what's going to happen. And we push our glasses up and then we live in mom's basement a little bit longer, So, don't fucking trust us on anything we say, But,
I mean, apparently, jumping on from Godzilla to from Netflix to Godzilla. Apparently, Netflix did an animated Godzilla film.
Oh, it's so good. Oh,
apparently
is it so
they're doing
good?
a whole series of them.
Yeah, at first I thought it was gonna be an actual full blown series, but I watched it about an hour in. I'm like, when the fuck is this gonna end? Oh shit, it's a movie.
Yeah.
If-
Apparently they do like a series of movies of them.
Yep, exactly. If you're like me and you're in love with Godzilla, head over heels in love with Godzilla, watch it. It's stellar. But if you're new, you're going to have a rough time with it. Kind of like casual. I remember me and you discussed this earlier on, and you had a little bit of harder time with it because you didn't know a lot about the mythos like I did.
Well, it's just like it was doing. Like I thought it was going to do one thing, and then it started doing this other thing, and I was like, oh, I guess you kind of need to know lore about Godzilla, and I was thinking it was going to be more like Pacific Rim, where it's just monsters blasting things, and that's it. I wasn't interested in Godzilla lore. I just wanted to see monsters fucking shit up.
Yeah, I know. That's. I'll admit that's where a real shortcoming of it was. If you walked in expecting like Showa era of Godzilla, you're kind of missing out. It's not really going to be reaching where most people want, where it was just very very animated monster fights. That's it, with very little lore in there and very little actual humans talking, like that stereotypical movie. But as far as this one went, I was very impressed because I was walking expecting that, which I love that. But then it was, holy shit, there's an actual story to this. What basically went to what happened after Godzilla dominated the earth. What happened to humans?
Yeah.
And they took to the stars to try to find a new place to live. Holy shit, we're running out of food. We're running out of water. Our rations are low. People are, threatening mutiny. What do we do? Let's head back to Earth and see if we can settle there. Holy shit, it's been... Oh, shit. 25,000 years, I believe it was, is how long they were gone with the warp drive and everything.
I think it was I think it was less than that, but it doesn't
long
matter.
time.
The main thing that I had about it was just that, like, I get that you are running out of supplies or whatever, but you're telling me that with all your advanced technology, you couldn't just find another planet? You have to go back to Earth and get killed again?
Well, that's the thing, is they were searching for a new planet, but they couldn't find one.
I don't. I mean, realistically, that's actually probably more true because science says that planets with life of any kind are pretty rare, so far as we know. But I'm just saying that the whole story was like getting too involved in its own shit, and I was like, I don't give a shit about this. When are the monsters going to fight each other?
And that one was a bit off with it because it was more of just Godzilla. Okay, spoiler alert. It was more about Godzilla Jr. fighting the clone of Godzilla fighting the humans.
I got to be honest. I didn't see that part because I fell asleep about halfway or
really. Dude, I was on the edge of my fucking seat the whole goddamn movie. I was loving it, man. I was loving it. But it was just so good. And and then you got to see Granddaddy Godzilla come out at the very end, Godzilla Earth, and it shows exactly the peak of them, and you get to find out through it that all the monsters that are on the Earth are actually derivatives of Godzilla that came from his DNA, blah, 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 blah. But part of this is why I brought this up was Pacific Rim Uprising. I've heard nothing but bad things in my chat about it. Like I won't go see it because I just, I'll wait for it to come out at home and I'll go watch it at home along with the original Pacific Rim, which I plan on doing eventually. But apparently I would say the
first one first.
Yep, that's the plan. But this is what I was told: the first one, if you love Godzilla, monster flicks where monsters fight other monsters, watch this. You'll love it. But if you like a movie where you actually have to deal with plot, then you'll like this one. Otherwise, don't expect Pacific Rim 1.
Yeah, they get kind of up their own ass in Pacific Rim too.
Yeah, I liked the movie. It was an all right movie. It wasn't fantastic. I ended up seeing it with a friend, and he made a good point that it was aimed very much towards Chinese audiences.
For sure.
How so?
Like
Well,
go ahead, Robbie.
The first movie, it did pretty good around the world, but it did fantastic in China. And the Chinese and Japanese have a lot of little feuding throughout their history.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of Japanese cities getting destroyed, and the monsters are kind of focused on Japan as a whole. And there's a lot of Chinese actors in it.
Just fuck that island. Throw the monsters at it. It'll be fun. But really, it was really that much of a fan service for the Chinese, huh?
A lot of movies are doing that because China is 2 billion people, and of those 2 billion people, Chinese dollars in American movies are very important right now. The biggest problem is going forward is that China's making more of their own big blockbuster movies, so they're of the opinion that fuck these American movies, essentially. Like it's not that they're not watching them, but they're basically getting what they want out of their own language movies without having to sit through whatever subtitles are in an American movie, plus whatever Chinese sensibilities go into a Chinese film, they're getting that. So the American films are not doing as well over there in the past, 5 years, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the American movies that have been going over there and doing like Fast and Furious, the reason they keep making those movies is because, and same thing with Transformers, is because they're doing phenomenally well over in China. Once that stops, there's going to be less of those kinds of movies, whereas a movie like, the Avengers movies or Star Wars is mostly an American thing. Like, most of the money is made in America for those ones. But, we'll see how that pans out in the future. But that wasn't even a problem that I had with Pacific Rim 2. I didn't really have a problem with it, but it just... It's hard to... What's that?
I just think it treaded a lot of the same ground as Pacific Rim 1.
Yeah. Plus it kind of doesn't, actually make sense if you try and break it down at all. But neither did the first one. It is what it is. But the only way I can describe the issue I had with it is it didn't have the heart that Pacific Rim 1 did.
So, did Guillermo del Toro do the second one, or was it just the first?
No, he just did the first one.
Yeah, I thought you could definitely tell during that movie. Because Guillermo del Toro put a lot of fucking work into the first one. Like, a lot of research into Japanese monster movies. He's a huge fan of, and it definitely shows in the first. And yeah, that's definitely lacking in the second one.
Yeah, there was just this something missing from it, and without that something, well, you just
Also,
Yeah.
I will just say, what the fuck was that random meme out of nowhere?
Which one?
What?
It was the final battle that they're going off to fight the big bad, and out of nowhere, one of the pilots is watching a video of the Trollololol meme.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh,
Yeah, it comes out of nowhere. like they're going off, and he's just like, because he's Russian, he's watching the troll meme. He's like, yeah, my grandma used to show this to me. I was like, what? Why did what? It just comes out of nowhere. It's like, why did you put that there? There was no reason for that to be there. It kind of ruins the tension of the movie as well.
Yeah, it was kind of cookie cutterish. You know, they saw it was like a fan that watched the first movie and was like, I like this, I want more of it. And they wrote their own movie, and it was fine, but it got a little bit up its own ass in terms of, like, lore and shit, and it did some confusing things that kind of didn't make sense. There was one pseudo-twist that I kind of liked, but other than that, it was mostly one of those forgettable popcorn movies that's going to get wrecked by Infinity War, just like every other popcorn movie.
Had some plot holes from the first. Well, it had some plot holes in relation to the first movie.
The biggest plot hole that I can think of, honestly, is that they said that all of the monsters were going towards Mount Fuji.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And I was like, okay, that's kind of neat. And then they further said that the way they figured that out was they said all the monsters in the first movie were going after Mount Fuji.
No, they
but
weren't.
It breaks down immediately, because if they were all going towards Mount Fuji, then there was only one rift in the original movie. They were attacking places in Australia. They were attacking places in China. They were attacking places like
in the US. Oh.
Yeah, in the
US. Are they taking the long way around?
And like, okay, you've made it to China and you're attacking Hong Kong. You took a left at Albuquerque, there, guy. You know, it was just kind of like, that's a really bad plot hole. Like really bad plot hole. That's the kind of plot hole you could fit a kaiju fighting a Jaeger in.
Jägermeister? What? Here comes this huge Jägermeister bottle coming through. God, bad joke.
Terrible.
I thought it was funny. So the internet kind of lost its mind, guys. When does the internet lose its mind, really?
Shock!
But the comic book section of the internet lost its fucking mind. Live action Teen Titans.
Oh, God.
Oh, I figured you've been like, yes. You're not excited for this?
I was fucking ecstatic for it until I saw what they were going to look like.
I haven't got a chance to see the images of them. I've seen the actors. Dick Grayson, played by Brent, however you pronounce that guy's last name.
That picture of Dick Grayson looks fantastic. Like him suited up, it looks great like that.
I haven't seen him in a suit yet. I've only seen him as a normal human. I'm like, I could see that. Yeah. The gal that's going to play Raven looks spot on. The gal that's going to play Starfire, I was like, what? That doesn't even look like Starfire.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like what people are raging about is the characters don't look like what they're supposed to. Like Beast Boy's not green; he just has green hair.
What?
Raven's not white; she has kind of weird bluey purple hair, which she does, but it just doesn't look right. And Starfire, I will say that Starfire, the way they've dressed her, she looks kind of like a hooker.
Well,
have you seen the latest versions of Starfire in the comics? That's not too far off.
I was also going to say, have you seen Tumblr when it comes to Teen Titans? Holy shit! I'll be scrolling all of a sudden. Whoa! Ho! Ho! Oh!
Yeah, I will agree. The Starfire in the comics and in the animated shows, she doesn't not look too modest, but she. How do I put this? I was going to say something, I forgot. She looks less like a hooker because, like, in the live action show, she's wearing clothes that are stereotypical of hookers.
I'm trying to find a picture of Tegan Croft, who's going to play Raven. I can't find a picture of her anywhere. I just saw the one of Robin. You know, at first I wasn't sure about it, but now that I saw the picture of him in his suit, he actually looks really fucking good. Like, really good.
I mean, I'd like to see what they all look like suited up, because I hope they look much better then.
Like, I was never a huge freak for Teen Titans back when I was in the age bracket for it, I suppose. It wasn't my thing, you know. Now that I've gotten older, it's a little bit better, but it's still not like my huge, driving force. But I would hope it's at least done well so I can watch it again,
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's sad when cosplayers have higher standards than like big budget television shows.
Well,
right, dude.
Here's the thing I would say about that. I'm not a DC person, so everything I know about DC comes from the movies I've seen, pretty much. I don't watch the animated things. I only watch the live action things. I think I only bought like one Flash comic once and one Detective Comics once, and that was my entire exposure to DC as a whole. But when it comes to this thing has to look like that thing, things can change. Like,
but there's changing, and then there's not even changing.
Well, let's look at the X-Men as an example of this. When the first X-Men movie came out, people said Hugh Jackman can't be Wolverine. He's 6 foot whatever. And Wolverine's 5 foot whatever. He doesn't even have the hair. It doesn't look exactly like it was in the comic. None of them are wearing their yellow jumpsuits. What's going on? Then the first X-Men movie came out, and people were like, "Oh, that kicked ass!" And we hated that Stormline for some reason. I'm just saying, give it a chance. These are just fucking set picks. We don't, if the show turns out to kick ass, who gives a fuck that they changed the look of the characters? What you want is that the show kicks ass.
I would
also say,
imagine they decide to change any character that you're really a huge fan of completely and put them in neon pink instead. Wouldn't you be a little upset, like going, that's just wrong?
But they aren't doing that. They're making minor changes for the most part. There's slightly altering costume designs. Maybe when it comes to, I don't know anything about Beast Boy, but maybe when it comes to the green skin thing, they were just like, look, we already have, from what I could glean of the pictures I saw, a person that's a strange color. Let's just not do that for this one. And maybe that was only part of the costume. Again, it's just a few set pics that were leaked on the internet. We haven't seen the show yet.
True.
I don't even think there's a trailer for it yet, is there?
No, there's not. It's just the promotional stills.
Yeah, so until we get the first trailers and until we get, like, the first episode, it just seems like one of those things that maybe, okay, I'll give you another example. We talked about this previously when that shit leaked, quote, leaked, that the Deadpool 2 test screening was a giant mess. And then it came out like 2 weeks later that the person that said that was a lying asshole that was just trolling. And now I know that because these are set pics, it's not some lying asshole. We actually have pictures and proof. But I'm just saying that until we have the entire thing, reserve judgment.
I suppose, and I can understand what you're saying, but at the same time, it's just, I can understand why super fans are a bit upset because you fell in love with the character a certain way, you know? You want them a certain way.
I have probably a possibly better example. When Heath Ledger was cast in Dark Knight. Now, I know Stacy, he's a bad Joker, but he's a good character if he had a different name, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember. Heath Ledger was cast. Everyone was like, him, the guy who does rom-coms. But then they saw
Rom-coms.
the movie, and it's like he killed it.
Who the fuck's rom-coms?
Romantic
Yeah,
comedies.
romantic comedy.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. I apologize. Yeah, I once again, actually, we were just talking about him yesterday about great actors, and Heath Ledger's an amazing actor, fucking stellar. He played the character
Honestly,
amazingly.
he deserved the Oscar for Monsters Ball, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Or
He was in that?
Yeah. Yeah. If you haven't seen Monsters Ball, it's a super drama movie about a couple people losing people that are close to them and then getting together. At one point in the movie, spoilers, Heath Ledger, who's playing the son of one of the characters, he basically has this kind of antagonistic and some might say abusive relationship with his father, and he asks his father after something goes on, and they get in what you can assume is yet another big fight, and his father hits him, and he stands up and he kind of brushes himself off, and he asks his father, "Did you ever love me?" And his father, in a very ultra drama way, says, "No." And he pauses, and he says, "I always loved you." Then he pulls out his gun and blows his brains out. Like, his own brains out. And for that scene alone, like, if you watch that scene, just that scene, I think Heath Ledger deserved an Oscar.
I don't know. I'm honestly amazed that he didn't win it. As far as I know, he didn't win anything post death for his portrayal of Joker. Did he?
No, he did.
Well, he did.
The best supporting actor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he won Best Supporting Actor posthumously that year.
Okay,
He absolutely deserved.
Oh yeah, like I said numerous times, I'm not a fan of the way they wrote it, but god damn if he wasn't a great actor for it. God damn if he wasn't a great actor.
Well, the way you like, because I know you're a huge Joker fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that it would have been better had he not been Joker, because he's not your Joker, which is fine.
Well, once again,
there's nothing wrong with that.
I pointed out numerous times, and this is something I'm guilty of too, that you have to learn to live with it. You have to learn that they're going to evolve characters. It's just, I really like the portrayal that they put out in the comics, the main canon comics. I really like the portrayal they did with Mark Hamill in the video games. I just love that portrayal of Joker. Just like the Telltale is totally fucking different, but I can't help but love that one too. I enjoy the different takes on the characters, but
that's kind of the point of how DC works when they work, is retelling the same tales with different versions of the, it's like, I look at it as similarly to a different writer and a different artist taking over a book. Every artist and writer has their own vision of what those characters should be, and people tend to like different versions. Like, for instance, there was I don't remember who the artist was, but there was an artist that took over on Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And he decided he was going to draw Clark Kent because a lot of artists used to draw Clark Kent as this skinny loser with, the glasses and everything. And then when they would draw Superman, they would draw him as this big bulky dude. And it never really made sense because, first of all, Superman kind of doesn't get his strength from his muscles. He's just fucking Superman.
yeah.
So when this particular artist took over the run, he started drawing Clark Kent as big and muscular, just like when he was Superman. And it was hilarious based on the fact that people still didn't people were still like, oh, there's no way Clark Kent could be Superman, and yet he's like 7 feet tall, and his shoulders are like 5 feet across, and and it's not for everyone. It's just this particular artist, and there is an entire group of Superman fans that loved that run specifically because it was almost farcical in how they handled the whole Superman versus Clark Kent body type issues, and running with what Rad said about when Heath Ledger was cast, they said the exact same thing about when Robert Downey Jr. was cast as Iron Man. They said the same thing about when Michael Keaton was cast as Batman. Then they saw it, and they were like, "Oh, this is pretty good." So that's kind of my point. Is we haven't actually seen it yet.
Yeah, it's for me personally, it's because of Dark Knight that I give things even a slight chance. Before that, it was like, oh, here's this thing that I don't care about. Oh, I hate it. I don't like it. But I wouldn't see it. Heath Ledger was like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work. Then I saw it, and I saw the performance, like, okay. So whenever you hear about something left field, like left field casting or something, like, give it a chance. You never know.
And sure, it could end up being a Jared Leto Joker performance, but who knows? It could be a Heath Ledger Joker.
I apologize. I'm a little physically ill there thinking of that guy.
It still might be bad, but what I'm saying is give it a chance to be bad before you judge it on being bad.
Ryan, you're a huge... go ahead,
well, I just saying,
Bobby.
I understand what you're saying, Casual. I really do. And I do plan on giving it a chance. I just think they could have done a little bit more effort to make the characters look somewhat like they are supposed to. For me, it kind of feels like an 80s movie version where of the Mario Brothers movie.
No,
even if it's like a fantastic series, it's gonna leave a sour taste in my mouth. Still.
I mean, I can totally see your point, especially right now where we have versions of superheroes that are literally wearing the costumes that they have in the comics, and right now at this moment.
Yeah.
But we also don't know what direction Teen Titans is going to take.
Mm.
They might be going some direction that nobody's expecting, and that too might leave a bad taste in some Teen Titan fans' mouths because but I agree, but
also like the suited up versions that we've seen, like them actually in costume, which I think we've only seen Robin and Hawk and Dove. Those look fantastic. So I'm kind of hoping that they stay in costume for most of the series.
Well, there are also things you have to do for okay, so you have a costume in real life. You got to make some concessions to wearability. Is it even marginally comfortable?
You also have to make concessions, for example, John Rhys-Davies, who played Gimli in The Lord of the Rings, he said he would never wear prosthetics again because he had a horrible, breakout in his skin, some sort of a reaction.
He had an allergic reaction.
Yeah, but he powered through it for the entire 3 years that they made that movie. But you maybe, and I doubt it, but maybe that's why they're not painting Beast Boy green, because
you don't have to paint him green. You can somewhat CG. I know the TV.
Well,
CGI
it's
is dodgy.
TV. It's, you have to consider it's still TV, and while TV is doing much bigger things than they used to ever be able to do, it's still TV. So, and again, I don't know if they're what the Teen Titans really do, other than they have a building that's shaped like a T, and I hate it.
They fight Slade, and a demon. Raven fights a demon.
I thought Raven was some type of demon.
She's half demon,
half demon.
Oh, okay. So this is how little I know about this series. I know they get into really weird, stupid adventures where they call up pizza delivery guys and try to get them to be late. That's legit it. But of course, this is also why all the Teen Titan fans say that the newest version of the show is the worst thing they've ever seen in their entire lives.
Well, it's because it focuses a lot more on like the comedic aspect, whereas the original Teen Titans cartoon went a lot darker with its storylines.
Like, the Teen Titan fans are nuts, man. Y'all are insane, dude. Like, that's a good way of me looking at it, by the way. Not a bad, insane. Holy shit. I have never seen more rabid fans about saying, I want this shit true, than the Teen Titan fans, and I love it. It's just fun to watch. Because I remember, like, I was on Tumblr one day. And, like, once again, you know, Tumblr being Tumblr, titties everywhere. But there was people discussing, like, I think it was, like, you're just fucking scrolling, there's Beast Boy fucking Raven. You're like, okay, I guess, why not? It's fucking Tumblr. And then the comments underneath, you'd expect, like, oh, that's hot or something. No. They got into bitch fest about how Raven would never fuck Beast Boy because of this and this. And I'm like, this is Tumblr. I love this.
Kind of silly. I mean, Beast Boy and Raven was, like, one of the first romantic interests in Teen Titans, except until at least until Terra came along.
No. Oh, my God. You should go see the discussions that happen. How this would never happen. It was fucking entertaining. I love it. Just rabid.
You're just getting into the shipping wars that happens in more or less every fandom.
And for anyone out there, if you search that, we are not responsible for what happens to your internet history. or your YouTube recommended videos.
All of a sudden, hello, we're from the FBI. We'd like to talk to you.
No, it's even worse. They get a visit from Chris Hansen.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Keep in mind the term teen.
Like, the worst part is I followed some Tumblr about comic books. I was like, fuck yeah, Batman, I'm down, dude. Let's follow this. And that's, I would say, about a week later is when the Teen Titan porn started coming in. I'm like, I didn't sign up for Beast Boy fucking anybody. What the hell, man? Like, it didn't really bother me because I'm like, it's comics, you know, whatever. But I did not sign up for this, goddammit.
I think it's funny is Cyborg fucking Jinx, because Cyborg's obviously a cyborg, so he has like a robot dick. That's funny.
Why has Robbie thought about this?
Because he's Robbie.
Good answer.
Robbie, I love you. I'm on your side today, buddy.
For those who didn't know, I literally facepalmed during that.
Yeah. And also, Raven is like basically the origin of the term big titty goth GF.
Oh, is she the big titty goth bitch
Pretty
meme?
much, yeah. Pretty much. Although I'm personally more into thighs than titties.
There's something about a booty. Ooh. Ooh. So, guys, go ahead.
That also doesn't help that in the Teen Titans Go series, they had an episode where she changed her persona and became Lady Legolas, which she attacked villains by kicking them. And had some very skimpy thighs.
Lady.
Sure, Robbie was in heaven.
God damn it.
And in other news today,
Robbie, I love you so much. You make this podcast possible on so many different levels.
Meanwhile, at the halls of justice.
So,
for the South Park version. Meanwhile, in the same location.
I just thought of another thing, but I won't say it now because we're moving on.
To wrap up this podcast, I would like to talk about one last thing. I suggest everybody go home, get your tools out, and open up your NES cartridges, because you may get illegal drugs or money. Has anybody heard about what happened with this?
No, Stacy. What on earth do you mean?
Just Stacy,
tell us more.
Tell me more. Tell me more. Did she put up a fight?
Did you get very far?
Yes. God damn it. But Julian Turner, a collector of retro video games, went to a market earlier this month and bought some old video games, got home and went, wow, this one's heavier. Wow, this one's a PAL. Why the hell would this be here? Opened it up and found, which they refused to tell us what type of drugs they were, but I don't know what's inside of them, but they're vacuum sealed.
Colombian crack.
Colombian crack of all things? Colombian coke would be more doable there.
Black tar heroin.
I read that it was heroin.
Oh, was it heroin? Okay. I couldn't find anywhere that told me what it was. But okay, thank you very much, man. But yeah.
No, the important question is, was the game still in there?
The game was still in there, yes. The game was still playable on a PAL system.
So basically you got a game and some free drugs.
Exactly, for an incredibly low price, because apparently when he called the cops, which I'm really surprised he called the cops. I really am. I would have been like, "This is this what I think? Call, beep, 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 beep. I need you to sell something for me. You get 50% of the profit."
Yeah, I would have just thrown it in a toilet, but, you know.
Really? Am I the only
Exposing
person
evidence.
who goes money, money, money?
If you want to become potentially involved in going to jail,
Well, you only go to jail if you get caught.
Stacy,
There's
you're
black
missing the point here.
SUVs coming outside. What does that mean?
You only spend the money if there are non-sequential numbers. If they're sequential serial numbers, do not touch.
I know, but yeah.
Hollywood 101. Come on now.
But yeah, so it was a copy of roller games and golf. Apparently, this was not the first time it's happened in a copy of golf. Another copy of golf that dated back to '85 was packed full of $50,000. Excuse me, $5,000. I'm sorry, $5,000 packed into a copy of golf. Holy shit! I mean, how would you guys react if you were like, "Wow, this game's fucking heavy. What the hell's going on here?" You open up and you find something inside of it.
I think I wouldn't even open it.
You
Just
wouldn't?
go, "Oh, it's heavy."
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I'd have the curiosity to go, "Let's open this up."
I wouldn't open it. If my intent was to buy a old cartridge, I would just be like, "Huh, this is kind of heavy."
Really? Am I the only person who would open it up besides this person?
I'm sure you're not, but I'm just saying I wouldn't. I'd just be like, I wonder why this is heavy, and I wouldn't, like...
Oh.
The only thing that would make me open something is if it started smoking or making a weird noise. Then I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? And I would open it up. But if it was just a little bit heavier than a typical cartridge, I would just assume that there was a big battery in there or something.
It'd be funny
If the game
it
is
was-
smoking, then clearly it's based on the movie Pineapple Express.
That and never saw the anti-smoking ads, obviously.
It'd be funny if instead of whatever the drug was, it was weed. So when the weed caught fire, you got high off the game.
Even better. You look at the game and go, "This is your processor. This is your processor on drugs." Any questions? Oh, God damn
Meanwhile,
it.
your entertainment center is burning down. You're like, it's all good, man. Oreos.
I didn't even know this movie was 3D.
Wow, man.
I could feel the heat radiating off.
These graphics in the NES are amazing, man. God damn it. We have been the Odd Pod. Thank you very much for tuning in. What's your name, kind sir?
Ryan.
Ryan, man.
I'm Robbie. I'm still.
Apparently his NES caught on fire, got him stoned. He forgot his own name, man.
I have been Rad Hazard 1. Don't do drugs, children.
Dave's not here, man.
This is your processor on drugs, and I've been Stacy Kruger. God,
This is Stacy
damn
Kruger
it.
with a beard.
With a beard.
Ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen, this is what happens when you get a beard.
You turn into a total schmuck. Thank you very much for tuning in, each and every one of you, ladies and gentlemen. You have been fantastic. We'll catch you all next time.